Hi guys, it's Elle. Welcome back to my channel. As you can see, this is going to be a different video today. If you hear a little noise, I have some people in the house. But I wanted to make this video, and you can tell by the title kind of what this is about. I wanted to make this video because I have told you guys a lot about my daughter and I's and my husband's journey with trying to figure out what was going on with her. And we have some answers, and I want to I want to contribute to the break of this type of, I don't know if you can call it a disease, but a condition. I think it's more of a condition. We recently found out that my daughter has epilepsy, and I just don't hear about this condition hardly at all, and it's very scary, to be honest with you. I know there's a lot of other things that are scarier than this, and I know there's a lot of different varying degrees of this condition that are a lot scarier than my daughter's condition, but it doesn't lessen where we are. And I just wanted to talk about it, and I just want to provide a space for us to feel okay to talk about this if we have a family member that has this, or a child. Because it can be very isolating and lonely, and I just want to talk you through kind of what happened for us. I'm not editing this video, that's why I'm coming to you looking just like this. I've dropped my daughter off at school, and I just want to sit down and chat, and I hope that that's okay. So basically I pushed, and this is something that I really want to urge to you if you guys are starting your journey with your child, or a child you know, or a family member, that you just can't get the answers from a neurologist that you need about this condition, or if you're thinking that your person has this condition, or you do. I urge you to get to see an epileptologist. An epileptologist is a specialist that specializes in epilepsy. I had to go to the board of the hospital to get my daughter to see an epileptologist because, quote unquote, she wasn't sick enough. And I said, this is ridiculous. We've been dealing with this for 3 years, more than 3 years, 3.5 years. And I need a specialist. I need somebody that knows what they're talking about. She has seen over 5 different neurologists from the different areas that we've lived in, and none of them have provided the most amazing feedback and steps that this doctor has done for us. And I think it's important to push to see specialists. Now, if you guys don't know what happened, I have a whole video on it, so I won't go into all of it. But in July of 2016, my daughter got very, very ill and had her first generalized seizure in our home. We had to call 911. I was alone at the time with her, and it was very scary. They couldn't figure out what was going on. She was in the hospital for 7 or 8 days. I can't remember. They kind of are a blur. And she kept having them over and over again. She had over 13 or 14 seizures in that time. She finally stopped. I finally got her home. I pulled her out of the hospital when she stopped seizing for over 48 hours. And she was on one medication as we left for her seizures, an anti-seizure medication called Keppra. We had to nurse her back to health. She had ataxia so bad from this really harsh drug they gave her. And she basically, her body forgot how to walk, talk, sit, eat. Basically, she was an infant again. And we nursed her back to health. She's a strong little girl. She recovered from this horrible ataxia in less than a month, and they've never seen that in a child. So she's a fighter. But it kind of gotten worse and worse over the past few, should be having this phone on, but it's kind of gotten worse and worse. And I have always thought that it was something else. I always thought that they were missing something. I always thought that I could heal her with, chiropractors and naturopaths and, all sorts of other alternative medicines, because that's what I believe in. I believe in a blend of alternative and Western medicine. I think that's where the most harmonious you can be when you're trying to heal somebody. This doctor that we finally got hooked up with after I fought for her is that she basically said, well, why hasn't she had a PET scan, PET? So it's different than an MRI. They still inject them with a low radioactive dye, and what it does though is it shows malformations in the brain. It's different than an MRI. So the MRIs as she's ever had have always come back clean. I think she's had 3 MRIs. She's had probably 5 or 6 EEGs. They've all come back normal, with a mild slowing in one of them, but nothing epileptic. And she said, well, I'm so sorry, but she should have had a PET scan. So let's do that now. So we took her to the hospital just last week, and they did an EEG before, and then they also did the PET scan to take those pictures of her brain. And it's usually used for people that have like cancer and tumors, but they do use it for epilepsy sometimes when they can't figure out what's going on. So we got the results back just 2 days ago, and it is confirmed that she does have epilepsy. And I will read to you, if I have any medical professionals out there, the PET scan results. It says FDG, hypometabolism, right posterior perinsular region. I hope I'm saying that right. So she has focal onset seizures. So, you know, I've been praying, and I know you all have been praying for us to find a solution to this, and we have our answers. It might not be the answers I want. I was hoping that this would come back clean, and we could then look into the other things that it might be. So where it is in her brain is that the reason why she is aware while she's having her seizures is because it's not affecting other parts of her brain. So she's still very aware. They only last 2-3 minutes, but they are kind of becoming more frequent, which is scary for us. She has failed her first medication. She's failing out of her second. The doctor did say that basically she is a surgery candidate, but we need to do a couple more things before we even get there. So I'm still taking her to her chiropractor. I'm still seeing her naturopath. We're still monitoring her diet. I mean, my child has seen everybody from healers to FMS. It's basically like an inflammation stimulator. It basically reduces inflammation in the body. And I've done everything I possibly can alternatively to help support her. And so she has to have a neural psych exam, which I'm not quite sure why they have to do that. It's kind of hard for me to understand, but I guess it's like games that they play with her for 4 hours, and then that helps them understand more about her epilepsy. She isn't well controlled on medicine. She just isn't. It's heartbreaking. We took her to gymnastics yesterday, which she absolutely loves. She had a seizure during gymnastics the second time. It seems to happen a lot when she's overexerting herself, which I don't know what that means or not, but, and she got in the car and she said, I want to go home. And I said, okay. And I said, why, baby? And she goes, I don't want to do gymnastics anymore. And I said, okay. I said, why, baby? And she goes, because it makes my head feel funny. And of course we had a conversation that it wasn't gymnastics, and, but she's 4.5, like it's hard for her to understand. So now she's like limiting herself because she's so aware that something's going on, and it breaks my heart to see her self-limiting because she's trying to control it herself. And I don't really know, but I just wanted you all to know that if you're going through this, you're not alone, and it is very scary. Every moment of every day, I'm always waiting for the next one. I'm worried if she's over at the neighbor's house as she has one. I'm, constantly in a state of panic or anxiety. I know a lot of you guys have said that I seem a lot happier, and I am, to be honest with you. Living here has been amazing, but it's also a choice that I have made personally to stop obsessing over this. I can't control this. I obviously can't heal her. It's just something that we have to deal with until the doctor tells us what needs to happen from here. But again, it's for me, I was inundating myself with research and Googling and, so much going on that it was affecting every portion of my life, and I couldn't live that way anymore. And I decided to try to give myself some grace. And I really honestly, I gave it up to God. I just said, I can't do this anymore. I can't handle this anymore. I need you to take it from me. And I don't, I know a lot of other people are going through a lot more worse things than this, so I don't want to make this into a bigger thing than it is, but for me, it's my reality, It's really hard. It's really hard for me. How do you go from having a perfect child, and she's still perfect, but to this state that we're in now? So the next steps, we don't know. I don't know if we're going to do surgery. I don't know what kind of surgery. There's a lot of other things that we have to do before we go in. I mean, she potentially has to go into the hospital. They have to pull her off her meds and let her seize. How can you do that to a 4.5-year-old? But I will do whatever they ask me to do. She's so terrified of the hospital now. I mean, that PET scan experience was horrible, and it was no one's fault. It's just she's been in there so often that she just hates it. And I hate that I have to do that to her, but I'm trying to do it to her because I love her and I want to help her. So the one big thing, though, that the doctor told me that really, I think, set me into this spiral was that I always thought that she could grow out of it, right? And that's always what a lot of people say. Like, if they start epilepsy young, they can grow out of it potentially. And I'm sorry, my cat's at the door. And I asked the doctor, and the doctor said, well, with this type, I forgot to tell you guys. So in the PET scan, what they found was in this section of the brain, they said it's like a scar, okay? But it's actually the brain didn't form right. There is a high percentage that the brain did not form right in birth or in, utero. And then when she had her sickness, which she had viral encephalitis, when she was 2.5, that basically, that set her over the edge. Okay. So that basically just triggered it. Hold on one second, guys. Come here, Mama. So that just triggered it. And, I asked if she could grow out of it or if the brain could heal itself. And, there's just so many schools of thought. And she said to me, there's probably about a 10% chance that she could grow out of it. And that just was heartbreaking to me. It is what it is, but it was heartbreaking to me. I always thought that we'll be able to deal with this just for a little bit and then we'll move forward because she'll grow out of it. But she is not well managed on drugs right now, so that also leads you to think that it's not going to work out very well that way. But I still am trying to keep positive and think to myself, well, maybe she's part of that 10%. Maybe the brain can heal itself. I mean, there are so many doctors out there that believe wholeheartedly, like real doctors that believe wholeheartedly that the body can heal itself. The body can heal itself from anything. You just have to, I don't know. I'm kind of just grabbing at straws, to be honest with you right now. So I don't know. I did have to cut there because there's somebody vacuuming upstairs. But anyway, so I just want to let you know that you're not alone, that it is very scary and you have every right to feel all of your feelings that you're feeling. But I just urge you to fight for your kids. Fight for the kids that you take care of. Fight for yourself to find that right doctor. It's going to be hard for me to respond back to all of your comments on this video, but know that I read each and every one and your positive words of encouragement. I mean, to be honest with you, there are so many things that you guys have said in the comments that have led me to where I am today. Honestly, I don't know if I would have ever sought out different types of doctors that she has seen, whether they've helped or not. There's also types of therapy that I have sought out, and I would not have known about that unless you all would have told me about that. So I appreciate you guys so much, and thank you so much. I also love to hear, you know, stories of your children having the exact same thing and growing out of it. I mean, just those help me see the positive, you know, sides of this. I'm trying not to do surgery. The doctor feels that, I talked to her about like diet changes, and talked about the keto diet and things like that. So we're exploring those as well. A lot of you guys have talked to me about that. So that probably will be part of her treatment after we get this neuropsych test done in October. But it's going to be a slower process, and I'll keep you guys updated if you guys want me to. But yeah, sorry it's such a downer video. I just, you know that I share a lot on here because I don't love to just share the pretty side of YouTube. Like, oh, it's all about makeup and skincare. And I mean, there's a real life here, okay? There are real people with real problems and real things going on. And you need to know that you're not alone. And that this is real life, and it can look all pretty on camera, but it also looks like this too. And you guys have been there supporting me for so long. I want to be able to share this stuff with you. So again, I will keep you posted as things progress. I do accept all prayers, positive words, love and light sent to me and my family, and I send them all right back to you if you guys are dealing with something right now as well. So yeah, so that's where we are. And I hope that there is a plan for this, and I hope that there's some lesson I'm supposed to be learning, and I hope that she is that 10%. I mean, why can't she be the 10%? So, yeah. So thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll keep you posted. I'll see you guys later. Love ya.